Congratulations to all the teams, coaches, players, and officials on earning a spot in the 2014 playoffs. We are looking forward to a great playoff just like the season we just finished. We'd like to go over a few points of emphasis for this year's playoffs that we noticed during the regular season. The first one is freedom of movement, both on the ball and off the ball. Defenders, you have to allow offensive players with the ball or without the ball to move freely on the court so we do not disrupt their offensive sets. Let's look at a few examples of contact that was illegal. Let's watch Carmelo dribbling the ball here and focus on Alonzo, the highlighted player. He sticks his left hand into the chest of Carmelo. This affects his speed, quickness, balance, and rhythm, and that makes this illegal. Let's watch Brandon here, the highlighted player. As Jeff starts his drive to the left, Brandon is going to stick his forearm into his chest. The replay here clearly shows this illegal action. That is an automatic foul for an extended forearm. Let's watch Amari here, the highlighted player. As Nate drives to his left, you're going to see Amari step to his right and body check Nate. The replay clearly shows that the contact affects Nate's speed, quickness, balance, and rhythm. Let's watch Kenneth, the highlighted player, on this pick and roll. He's going to hedge out to the right to pick up Reggie, the dribbler. The replay here is clearly going to show the body check contact between the two affects Reggie's speed, quickness, balance, and rhythm, and that's illegal. Let's watch Jeremy here as this play unfolds. Kevin is going to go use a screen. However, Jeremy is holding him. The replay is clearly going to show Jeremy's hold on Kevin, and this is impeding his progress. That is illegal. The next point of emphasis is illegal screens. And this is a complex play, usually involving four moving players. Okay, screeners, remember, do not extend your leg outside the normal position. If the trailing defender trips over it, it's going to be an offensive foul. If they start going over or under and you feel you've got to move, most likely if you do, or you swing your hips out, you're going to get called for an offensive foul. Let's go to the video and look at some illegal screens. Let's watch Dewan here, the highlighted player. When setting a screen, players must give the opponent the opportunity to stop and/or change direction. On this play, you're going to see from the replay, Dewan steps to his left and does not give Derek that opportunity. This is an offensive foul. Let's watch David here as he goes sets a screen. When setting a blind or screen from behind, you must give that opponent one full step prior to contact. David on this play does not give Sessions that one step, and that is an offensive foul. Let's watch Kenneth here on this play as he sets a screen on Patty. When setting a screen, you may not extend your legs outside a normal basketball position, which is roughly shoulder width. The replay here clearly shows that Kenneth has his leg extended, and Patty trips over that extended leg. That's an offensive foul. Let's watch Ashik on this screen here. Remember, when setting screens, you must stay stationary. Here, Kevin tries to go over the screen, and Ashik hip checks him as he goes over. That's illegal and an offensive foul. The third emphasis is traveling, and we've seen an improvement both by players and referees this year. So players, keep up the good work, and remember, keep that pivot foot on the ground until you release the dribble, and stop taking those three little steps at the end of your dribble in the post. Officials, keep one eye on the pivot and one on the defender so we don't miss any travels or fouls. Let's look at some illegal footwork here. Let's focus on Josh on this play. When players establish a pivot foot, they must release their dribble prior to moving that foot. On this play, Josh has both feet on the floor when he gets the ball. He steps back with his right, thus establishing his left foot as his pivot, and steps forward with that left pivot foot. That's a traveling violation. Let's watch the highlighted play here, Kufas. As he catches the ball, he establishes his left foot as his pivot foot. The replay is clearly going to show, as he repositions that foot multiple times, he slides that foot back from where its original position was. That's illegal and a traveling violation. Let's look at a travel in the post here. Gortat, the highlighted player, is going to catch the ball, and as he drives to the basket, he gathers on his left foot. But then he takes a right, left, right, left. Players are only allowed 2 steps after the gather. The replay clearly shows 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's look at a different kind of travel here as PJ drives to the basket. It is illegal for a player to step consecutively on the same foot after he gathers the ball. You're clearly going to see here, PJ gathers the ball on his right foot. Then the first step to touch the floor is his right foot. That makes this illegal.
The next area is point of contact. We addressed this early in our season to all the teams and the officials with a memo, so let's just review it quickly. Anytime we're dealing with a jump shot, we're trying to have the officials focus more on elbow to wrist when the defender is trying to block the shot so they can better see some small contact. If they are hit at any time before the ball is released, that's a foul. If they are released the ball and they are unable to finish their follow-through, that is a foul. If they release the ball and then there's more than marginal contact, that is a foul. However, if they release the ball and the follow-through is more of a hand-to-hand, as in a high five, that's okay. That's marginal contact. Or if the ball's released and they finish their follow-through, and now we just have a little marginal contact as the defender goes by, that's not a foul. Let's look at some video.
Let's focus on the Blake-Dirk matchup here in the low post. As Dirk turns to shoot, there's going to be some contact with Blake. If we narrow our focus and watch Dirk elbow to wrist, it makes it much easier to see that Blake contacts him on the elbow. Let's watch Jason here, the highlighted defender, as he goes out to guard Drew on his jump shot. Officials, to help themselves get the contact here, if they narrow their focus to watch elbow to wrist as Drew goes up, it helps them better see Jason reach in and catch his wrist. Let's watch Chris here. In contrast to the last two plays, as he defends Paul on his shot, we're going to see marginal hand-to-hand contact after the shot is released. The replay here clearly shows the high five type of contact. This is not a foul. Let's watch Dwight here. Similar to the last play, the ball is released. However, on this play, the contact is considered more than marginal. As the replay clearly shows, Al is not allowed to finish his follow-through when Dwight contacts him on his forearm. This is a foul. Let's watch Aaron closely on this play. Remember, jump shooters must be given the opportunity to land cleanly. The replay here clearly shows that Aaron contacts John's lower body prior to him landing. This is a foul. Let's watch James on this play. Offensive players are not allowed to extend their legs or arms in an unnatural manner to create contact. The replay here clearly shows that James extends his left leg and creates illegal contact with Allen. Thus, this is an offensive foul.
The next area is push-pull plays. This was also addressed during the season in a memo. Offensive players, if a defender is going up to block a shot, do not give him that little extra push. Do not grab the defender's arm so he is unable to go over and defend the shot attempt. Here's some video examples.
Let's watch DeAndre on this play. This is going to be called an offensive foul. You're going to see here, he pushes Samuel, preventing Samuel from defending Chris's shot attempt. Once again, this is an offensive foul. Let's watch the highlighted players under the basket here. Once again, we're going to see an offensive player, Andre, push the defender, Miles, into Greg, who's shooting. This is another offensive foul. Let's watch this highlighted matchup. In contrast to the last two plays where the offensive player pushed an opponent, here we're going to see an offensive player pull and hold. Amir holds Paro's arm, preventing him from defending the drive. This is an offensive foul.
The next area is verticality. It's an area we addressed during the season, again, with a memo. And what we noticed some of you players were doing, instead of jumping vertical straight, you were doing a little turn and twist as you were going up and meeting the offensive player with your hips and shoulders. That is illegal. You are not allowed to turn sideways as you are jumping. If you're on the ground and you turn slightly, that's okay as long as you jump straight up and keep that same verticality. Let's look at some plays.
Let's watch the highlighted defensive play here, Gortat. He establishes a legal position in Taj's path prior to Taj starting his upward shooting motion. Gortat also is vertical and jumps vertical. This is a correct no call. Let's watch the highlighted defensive player Jonas on this play. While he does get to a position prior to Paul starting his upward shooting motion, when he jumps, he turns sideways into Paul. This is considered illegal and a defensive foul. Let's watch Derek, the defensive player here. As stated before, to maintain verticality, a player must jump straight up. On this play, the replay clearly shows Derek jumps from right to left, or point A to point B. This is illegal and a defensive foul.
The last emphasis is flagrant fouls. Players, your safety is always our main concern. And we want you to be aware, when you're fouling other players, if they are in a vulnerable position, let's not be pushing them while they're in the air. Let's be careful about contact above the shoulders, fouling them in a non-basketball manner, unnecessary excessive contact. Let's go to the video and for some examples of flagrant fouls.
Let's watch John, the highlighted player here. As Jason drives down the other end, John's going to get up in the air and come down with a karate chop type of motion on Jason. The officials would rule this a flagrant foul on the court, and when they go to replay, they would see this very hard contact, which is unnecessary, and rule it a flagrant foul 1. Let's watch Blake's drive to the basket here. As he's in the air, you're going to see Greg come in and give him a push while he's in the air. This really is a non-basketball type play to a very vulnerable player with potential for injury. Following replay, this would be ruled a flagrant foul 1. Let's watch the highlighted defensive player here, Ryan. Kenneth is going to receive the pass and go to the basket. While he is in the air in a very vulnerable position, Ryan pulls his arm down, knocking him to the ground. This is unnecessary contact and a flagrant 1. Let's watch Paul, the highlighted defender here, as George drives to the basket. This play meets enough criteria to be a flagrant foul 2. A clothesline contact, which is a non-basketball play, hard contact above the shoulder, potential for injury. This is considered unnecessary and excessive. Following instant replay review, this would be a flagrant 2, and Paul would be ejected from the game.
Once again, with your safety in mind, we noticed this season there was a lot more contact to opponents' heads. And again, this is a very dangerous situation. Hubie Brown recently talked about it on one of his broadcasts. Let's take a listen.
Johnson off the heel, Dudley running the break. Let's see here, Young didn't go for the ball that time.
Yeah, I don't understand that today. Why do we see guys going for guys' head? That's automatic. If you go for the ball and you get a chance to block the shot, like right here, go for the block. If you can't get the block, you get his from the wrist to the elbow. You're not going to hurt the guy. But going up here, anything can happen now. He could trip, he could fall, he could run into the stanchion.
This is another example of the type of play Hubie was just talking about. As you can see, the replay is going to show the contact is up high, above shoulders, around the neck and head area.
Finally, we want to thank you, the players and officials, for doing a great job with the delay of game and interfering with the ball after a successful basket. I know you all had to break some very difficult habits, but you did it early in the season, and it almost disappeared completely from the game. But just as a reminder, here's 2 examples.
Let's watch Darrell, the highlighted player here. Following a successful basket, he's going to interfere with the ball, depriving Miami the opportunity to inbound quickly. Let's watch Nick here, the highlighted player. He uses an unusual method to delay the game. He headbutts the ball away, depriving Zach the opportunity to inbound quickly.
Thank you for watching. On behalf of the Commissioner and all the NBA employees, we wish you a successful and injury-free playoff.